Hi everyone, Manuela Marcajani from r.e.m Skincare. I'm a cosmetic chemist and a product developer, and I've been creating problem-solving skincare for over 35 years. And welcome to my podcast called Confessions of a Cosmetic Chemist. And so in this podcast, we're going to explore lifestyle, fashion, skincare, trends, behind the scenes. Part of my voyage these last 35 years, I want to share the insights that I've learned. And today we're going to talk about influencer or celebrity skincare versus a brand such as Isomers. What are the pros and cons? What's going on in the industry? Why is it important to know the difference of who the manufacturer is or who or what the foundation of the skincare brand that you're actually working with or utilizing, where it comes from? What is its purpose? What's its driver? This is a very large industry. Billions are spent a year in skincare. Everybody wants a piece of this pie, a piece of this action. Most brands don't last very long. Most brands come and go. Most brands come and go. And this is because of trends or fads, also because they don't really have a foundational element to their skincare brand itself. They're only existing to maybe to ride a wave or to enhance part of their celebrity. So let's get into this a bit. And I actually have a bit of a pet peeve with it because as a cosmetic chemist and someone who designs evidence-based skincare, it's not something that you can just whip up together and slap someone's face on and just have, a pretty bottle and a pretty celebrity or a cute tagline. Inside that bottle, inside that formulation, represents science and technology that should actually deliver and problem solve, actually have a purpose, actually be like food or nutrition or cosmedicine, if you will. But all of it should have an idea. So, the rise of influencers and celebrity skincare. Having been in this industry for 35 years and really struggling to get notoriety. So when we started, an idea in a blender, university educated, creating problem-solving skincare and actually creating skincare that the efficacy is so there that it is literally changing your skin, literally healing, anti-aging, doing really positive things for the skin, more than just hydration or protection. So there's more elements into the skincare. The reason why you don't become worldwide, world famous very quickly is because maybe you start like we did, Dersh and I, absolutely, broke, busted, and disgusted. There's no money there. So all it is word of mouth. Like you really want to just be able to get the product out there and you want to be able to, by the reputation of the product, have it grow. Then there's other brands that have a lot of dollars behind it. So they could do marketing. They're more entrenched in how to do the marketing, how to do the distribution. They have a wider reach. What really propels them at that point is if they can attach it to somebody famous, right? A celebrity. As soon as you get a celebrity that people know, that icon, that face that you know, it starts to get a lot of attention. So celebrities always had a role in moving up skincare, making it more famous, making it more mainstream. This was very traditional. So that's how the industry used to do things 20 years ago. The last, I would say, 10 years, is it about 10 years with social media and everything like that? In the last 10 years, we have more of the influencer element to skincare. So that's really interesting in a way that you have influencers because of social media starting to use skincare and starting to have their own voice and starting to do evaluations of skincare. Maybe people that are in the skincare industry. Maybe it's an esthetician. Maybe it's a makeup artist. Maybe it's somebody who's had the opportunity to be in a shop where they have a lot of skincare, or someone who just has a passion. And they start talking about skincare, they start talking about different brands that they're using, and they start to have this unbiased opinion, sharing their knowledge, sharing their insight, and helping to guide people, helping to guide you into what are these different products, how do they work, what's in them, and giving people more insight into what's available in the marketplace and what's better, a good, better, best scenario. The funny thing is, the more successful the influencer is in doing this and being unbiased and offering up all of this insight and information, the higher likelihood their followers grow by millions, their likes grow by millions, and then brands now want them to be use them as promoting. Now they've become celebrities. So now they have become the celebrity, and then they want to do their own brand. And everything at that point to me goes out the window, because you started as unbiased, you started as looking at different reviews, then all of a sudden you're going to start creating your own product because now you're the celebrity. You have really maybe no background in creating the brands, and even maybe you do. But basically it ends up that you end up being this celebrity that creates their own brand, and you start to have a bias towards your own brand. So this is how the celebrities, the skincare experts get into this field, start talking about the skincare products, and literally how it starts to skew, where you start to have this unbiased kind of like, I love the influencer who doesn't have his own brand or her brand, who is looking at things from maybe a science background or efficacy background, who isn't being inundated with freebies or doing collaborations, who truly is independent and looking at them all. But there are so many things that come into play, because as soon as you become really good in here, as soon as you start to get an audience, start to get viewership, right away it goes into monetization, and it goes into becoming the celebrity, and it goes into be repping a brand, and everybody's now wanting a piece of pie. So quickly you go from having like an honest, unbiased review of something, and it starts to swerve very, very quickly, because people start following the money. And that's always really what happens in business. You follow the money. So the impact, I believe, of this influencer and celebrity element in skincare is that it does start to skew the skincare, because these brands come and go. They're not really based on anything. They have like huge launches because they're based on all. That was funny. They have these huge launches because they're based on the celebrity and the promotion and the hype and their audience loves them. And they think, you know what, this is a celebrity with all of this background, or the influence with all this background and knowledge, and they're going to create the creme de la creme of skincare. But what happens is they don't have their own lab. They don't have their own scientists. They don't really know what is in the formula. Maybe a large brand, maybe a private label company comes up to them and says, I will back you. I will help you create your brand. But they control the entire process. So this influencer, this celebrity, they're not active in the formulation. They're relying on, as I say, stranger danger. You actually have an unknown chemist making these formulas that really doesn't have a loyalty to the brand or to the element. It's all about that timing and that trend. We're going to capitalize on this person, on their fame or on their position or on their market share at the moment. We're going to put something in the pipeline, skincare, that people are going to buy, and we don't care if they buy it once or twice. We're going to do this big launch. We're going to get this big payoff because of a large audience, and the skincare comes and goes. This is really what is probably wrong with the industry, is that when you have a lot of this noise, the celebrity, the influencer noise, and they create their own brands, and they'll wow you with packaging, they'll wow you with, celebrity endorsement, flashy lifestyle, you want to be them, I get it. But if you look at their price points, and if you look at their ingredients, and a lot of times, their price points for zero science is always something very interesting to me as a cosmetic chemist. And they're really banking on the aesthetic of the person, the aesthetic of the packaging, and to fit a trend. And the irony, I don't know, maybe it's because a lot of the people who do subscribe to this, or who do buy into the celebrity or influencer market, are young. And when you're young, you have this advantage. You're young, you're healthier than people like myself in my 60s, right? You're younger, you're healthier, you're more vibrant, your recovery is a lot faster. So if you dabble here and there with bad formulations and bad skincare, the chances of you recovering quickly and easily and unscathed are fine. So, 10 years from now, it doesn't matter that you use that. When you're older and your skin is much more vulnerable and maybe valuable in that sense, you don't really want to fool around with unknown formulators, a mishmash of ingredients, things based on marketing as opposed to, like we always say at Isomers, there's science fact and there's science fiction. We want to base things on science fact, because when you're dealing with the science fiction part and hoping that this works or not understanding where the product is made, how it's made, what's inside, you could end up compromising your skin. And our skin is becoming much more vulnerable. Our skin is becoming much more susceptible to things. And the importance of skincare, especially as you age in different ages and stages, is very vital, because it truly is the largest organ of your body. It has a very serious job to do. It's also your calling card. It is also your wrapper. So you really don't want to fool around with it. You want to take care of it in the best way possible and have it be in its best state. You want to bring the best out of your skin. And it's not going to be in what the packaging is or who the celebrity is. It's going to be about the science that's inside. So the benefits of established brands with over 30 years experience, such as Isomer Skincare. So for us, it's like the slow burn, right? So we're in the laboratory, we're working with skincare, we're creating formulations, and we're doing so in, day out, looking at peer-reviewed, science-backed ingredients. And what are they doing to and for the skin, depending on the age and stage? What are the things that are going to help with the exfoliation, help as an antioxidant to prevent the free radical damage, work on the pigmentation at different levels? Different ages and stages. How is menopausal skin different from perimenopausal skin or teenage skin? All of those things are valid. Those are things that celebrities and influencers may not have the nuance, because I myself, I have this insight because of my 35 years in the industry. I myself didn't know, 35 years ago, the nuances and the benefits, or what the skin would need at 55, at 60 years old. I could barely manage my 20-year-old skin or my 30-year-old skin. So this is why, too, when you're looking at an established brand with 3 decades of formulation, of technology, of understanding, of, what happens, we do talk a lot about age and stage of the skin. We talk about the lifestyle. We talk about the nutritional needs, the components. What does it look like? What does it have? Because we always think about young skin being ideal skin. And then as you're aging or changing, it moves away from this ideal. Our job as cosmetic chemists is to create formulas that replace what you've lost, to help fill in those pieces. Say you have a puzzle. You have a puzzle with 100 pieces. The dog comes along and eats 3 pieces. Now you've got the same puzzle. It's missing 3 pieces. We want to be able to rebuild those pieces for you so you have a complete picture. That, in essence, is what a good cosmetic chemist does. That's what a good formulator does. It's adding to your skincare routine, adding to your age and stage, helping to rebuild, either change, fortify, protect, and always ensuring that those markers are there. Challenges of celebrity skincare. There's many challenges with celebrity skincare, because when you create a skincare line and you're a celebrity, right? You're a famous celebrity, this is your line, or you're a famous influencer, this is your line. The story is what? The story is that this skincare created your skin. That if you use my skincare, I'm celebrity A, and if you use my skincare, you will look like me. You will have what I have. You are going to look like this. And I always wonder, here's the limitation. How true is that? Because we know the truth to that is going to be very close to 0. Why? Because the celebrity pre-existed, right? Already looked like that. Because of that, you created the skincare. So the idea that they are using their actual brand is limited. Really, truly. I mean, I'm not going to say they absolutely don't use it, but chances are their road to how they look right now and how their skin looks right now is enhanced by many other brands, many other procedures, many other estheticians, many other treatments. And so therefore, to understand that their product is going to create this is not equal. This is not what you're getting. So there's a limitation to that in the sense of the honesty and the transparency. Maybe they believe in it. Maybe they've turned vegan. Maybe they've turned, they love certain kind of extracts. Maybe they've grown into understanding and maybe utilizing some parts of this. But there's that part of that limitation is that they can only then speak to their brand, can't really bridge that, and really say that this is what's going to create your skincare. So you have to understand as a consumer, I always think about Michael Jackson. I always think about Michael Jackson with Pepsi. I don't think he ever drank a Pepsi in his life, but he marketed Pepsi, right? So, but people, the sales of Pepsi went up because of that. So this is exactly what is happening, is that a brand will come along, it's a private label, multi-billion-dollar brand, they're a luxury brand or whatnot, and they can say, I like that singer, I like that celebrity, I'm going to create a line for them because I am going to ride the coattails of their fame. And people don't know, they're not smart enough to know that that celebrity never even uses the product. Half the times I've heard stories where celebrities haven't even seen the product or the final formulation. Maybe they come around and they go to some press event and they talk about things and they look really pretty. Maybe even the packaging is a representation of their home or their lifestyle. But actually using that product, when you even watch or look at these celebrities that are endorsing their own brands, you can see in their own feeds, they go to many, many, many different experts and have many, many different diets and people that are taking care of them to achieve that skin. So I as a cosmetic chemist, don't like that false belief that people are going to achieve this perfect skin because they love this person, they're going to follow what they're doing. It doesn't really work that way. The way it needs to work is you need to figure out your skin type, what's happening with your skin, what your goal is, and then find the ingredients and the systems that are going to work for you, regardless of celebrity. It has to really be based on ingredient and science and exactly working on the nutritional value of these elements and how they're going to go in and solve these problems to the best ability of your skin. And stay outside of that, because otherwise you're just feeding into a hope. I find it offensive when it's skincare. I find it less offensive when it's makeup or foundation. I find it less offensive when it's more of a fashion statement that's a few layers removed from your actual skin, the largest organ of your body. But when it is your skin care, when it is your serums and creams, these are designed to be specific actives to go in and either penetrate the skin and cause and affect a change inside the dermis, or it's designed to create signals like peptides do that are going to cause these changes. So you're really putting something that will really technically reprogram the skin to a certain level. So it's not inoffensive. It could be very offensive. This is why we as cosmetic chemists take it so seriously and look at when you're doing it based on an influencer celebrity status, and if it's just based on that and not really on science and just feeding into people's hopes and desires of being closer to that celebrity, closer to that goal of theirs, it's so deceptive and it's so misleading. And it makes me sad too. And this is why at Isomers we try really hard. And I myself as a cosmetic chemist, I try really hard to just break down the myths and just talk about this ingredient's going to do this, this, and this. It's not going to do more than that. Or this brand will never give you that skin without surgery. Like there's so many things. There's so many things with the celebrity skincare. So I think with the celebrities itself, their limitations, their challenges are going to be the authenticity, the value, who is the scientist, where does it come from, who actually did the manufacturing. There's so many things, because these are going to be private label. These are going to be projects. They're not lifestyle. They're not a passion. They're projects. They're going to come and go. They're trends. And say, for example, it really worked for you. They may not be around a year or two from now, because that may not even be the trend. So the ability for them to be very fickle also in the industry is very large. And so you get exposed to a lot of different ingredients that may or may not be good for you and may or may not have a lasting effect. When you have an established brand with 30 plus years experience, who've been in all the different life cycles, the brand comes with pedigree, comes from experience. The owners, the operators are also aging and changing and also walking the talk. And this is why I find it very good to go with the education and the science, and going with a brand where you understand who is the laboratory, who are the scientists, how are they making it, what is their philosophy, what are their actions, never mind their words, what they actually done, how long have they been around, are they going to be here for when I really need them to fix my skin or to deal with these issues that become so important to me. And I think we take it very seriously because of the fact that we've understand there's a huge link between your skincare, your mental health, your success. There's so many things. This is not just a standoff or a standalone element. This works all together. Your mental health, how you feel about yourself, your level of success, if you can move on, do you ruminate, do you have a routine, do you have good hygiene, do you have good mental outlook, are you able to follow instructions? Skincare can build all those different skills within your life. And when you have a skincare brand that is lab-based, science-based, good manufacturing, vertically integrated, that they're going to be your partner that's going to help you through all of these ups and downs. They're going to take you the long way. You know, they're going to take you and be a partner with you for the long haul. Whereas when you have more of celebrity influencer based, it is something very fickle. It is something very much at a different level. Also, with a brand that is 30 plus years old, the testing, the evaluation, all of the standards that have to be met, versus if you're only a celebrity and you're only going to do one or two products, one or two launches, and then you're done, you don't even really know how they've done the testing, what testing that they have, or if they're going to be around 6 months from now or for a year from now. We've seen recently brands come and go within 6 months. Huge launches, big parties, big celebrity. People have spent a lot of money, and then you're stuck with this product. What if it didn't work for you? What if you had an allergic reaction? What if something's going on? Where is the other side? Where is your protection from the brand? Differences between influencer skincare and established brands. Formulation, ingredient differences, credibility, accessibility. The difference between influencer and established brands. Influencer brands usually tend to come up with, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of brands that come up with their oud blends. They come up with their patented ingredients or their fancy names, or they come together and they say, we have this unique combination of X, Y, and Z. You know, sometimes it's made up space names. We're not quite sure where they come up with these things. It's just that it just feels like with the influencer brands, there is a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's a lot on the marketing. It's less authentic and transparent in how it's being formulated, and more on the magical thinking of that celebrity and of the audience that they're trying to talk to. So when you have an established brand, it's basically like going to a university where you actually have the stacks and the reputation and the pedigree, and you can see where they've come from, and you know a lot of the sourcing and what they're using, how they're building fundamentally from the base down. They're going to have products that have a proven track record with the efficacies. They're going to have a lot of testimonials that are real and authentic, non-paid for, not non-solicited. This is also very important too, because with an influencer brand, I think it's just more of the hype and the trend and the fashion, and less of the depth and the integrity backed by science, knowing exactly how it's going to work for you 5 or 10 years from now. I truly believe that a lot of things that you do to your skin, and you know, a lot of the habits that we have, unfortunately, like a lot of the damage that we do to our skin in our teens and 20s doesn't come out till we're 40, 45. So if you're dealing with brands over and over again that are not protecting, not reinforcing, not informing that these are the things that you need to be doing at this age, and also be preventative, or when you are at that stage and all of this is coming up, all of this damage, knowing what to do with it. And I don't think that these brands are very concerned with that longevity and that lifestyle, because they've come in at a different point. They've come in with a different mindset, and they've come in with a different mission. Their mission is be fast and loud and big, grab as much as you can. I don't really, and create this community that's in the moment, but it's still based on trend. And I'm very old-fashioned that way. I'm always based on, you know, as I said, the science. The science is its own trend. The truth is always the trend. Having the proof is always the trend, because in the end of the day, you've got to rely on something, especially when you're wanting to deal with something that's related to your health and related to the largest organ of your body. It's important as a consumer. And just like we talked about a few weeks ago, we talked about the Sephora incident where they were talking about clean beauty, or clean as defined by Sephora. And we talked about the fact that the clean beauty didn't have a standard, and then Sephora designed its own standard, and that is fine, right? And even the judges said that is fine, because the consumer should be smart enough to know that there is no standard and every brand can make up their own standard, right? So it is unfortunate that in skincare, the consumer, you need to be aware. You should really do, you have to do some of your own research. It's really hard to know who to believe, who to follow, who to trust. I get that. So a little bit of work is going to be really great. Like I know that when you're dealing with your skin and you have issues, because there are a lot of medical issues out there or serious issues out there when people are dealing with melasma, they're dealing with, acne, they're dealing with rosacea and eczema, and they're saying these are really chronic situations I have with my skin. I had the autoimmune issue with my skin. Understanding what's happening with your skin, and then finding, understanding a little bit about pH. You don't have to be a cosmetic chemist, but understanding that you have this living layer on your skin, and this acid mantle has to remain intact. And when the acid mantle intact, I always imagine, Horton hears a who, the little whoville is living on your face, and you have good and bad bacteria. You want to balance that bacteria, because when it's all working well with that little community, it's creating hyaluronate, it's creating ceramides, it's supporting your skin barrier, it's creating harmony, it's keeping acne away, it's keeping dryness and flakiness away. So this is small understandings as a consumer we should have for about your skin, and then understanding what your skin needs as its problems emerge, as you go through puberty, as you go through your 20s and 30s, as you hit different stages with your hormones. What is it that your skin needs? Why is it happening? These are not diseases. These are naturally things that happen naturally as you age, or a consequence of foods you eat or medications that you take or the climate that you're in or habits that you have. This little bit of information, coupled with a really good skincare brand that has a longevity that can hold you throughout that entire life cycle with a simple system of cleaning. I always say clean, feed, correct, protect. Those are the things you need to do. This would not only save you a lot of time and money, I really think it gets you to the skin that you really want. So celebrity skincare, I guess, could be fun. I believe that it creates conversation, it creates engagement. It does open up to a lot of topics and trends and feedback and activity. But I think I like it if it brings up the fact that when you're dealing with a celebrity skincare, you need to, I guess what I'm trying to say is, when you're dealing with celebrity skincare versus a scientist, I would always go with the scientist over the celebrity. I would always go with something that has a pedigree and where I know it came from and how it's made, based on something that's very fundamental, something that has that longevity and has that pedigree. This is why we like luxury brands. You like luxury brands that are old. They're a couple of 100 years old, and they show you they've made this. They talk about the craftsmanship, the expertise. They talk about where they come from, the quality of what they're working with. This is why they've established themselves to this certain level. And then in comes a celebrity and is like twice the price, zero expertise, dodgy, if not ingredients or quality. And you're supposed to be comparing one to the other. And I don't think the average consumer, without a little bit of education, a little bit of guidance, and a little bit of honesty and transparency in the industry. I guess my mission has always been to talk about this stuff in the background, and to open that knowledge, open that conversation, kind of open up the option of, don't believe everything. Don't believe what celebrities, don't believe everything you hear and see, but also be wise with your skincare, because it is a serious commodity, is a serious element of your lifestyle. To me, it's as equal to good nutrition, healthy food, healthy lifestyle. Another thing that I find really interesting about celebrity brands is they're going to grab onto something that's very trendy, right? So they're going to grab onto a concept that's very trendy, and they're just going to go with it. And people don't know the difference. And this, as a cosmetic chemist, as a scientist, it's not that simple. So for example, say a brand says peptides, right? My product has peptides. Which peptide? What does that peptide do? Do you know what a peptide is? Do you know that you can have so many different kinds of peptides? Peptides can upregulate collagen, upregulate elastin, work on pigmentation. Other ones work on reticulin. Other ones work on the skin barrier. Some will boost hydration. Some will actually cause calming onto the skin. Everyone has a different job. So when you say my brand is peptide based, and what does that mean? Do you have the micronized peptide? Is it a collagen peptide? Is it elastin peptide? Is it a hyaluronate? We don't know. So to be able to have a blanket statement, I think makes people believe, again, this gap of making you believe it's something that it's not. I'm not giving you enough information. And they don't want you to get into the weeds, right? They don't want you to get into the details, because then you will see. Many years ago, I was invited to a launch of a very famous brand. Now, this brand, let me tell you, the launch was going to be done at Haute Renfrew in Toronto, right? So I'm from Toronto, it's Haute Renfrew. Haute Renfrew, for those of you that don't know, is like our biggest shishi store out there, right? So it's like, as some people say, the epitome of department stores for Canada, right? So Haute Renfrew is right up there. It's going to be your 5-star shopping experience. And they carry a lot of fancy brands, right? So this one brand, it came along and it had a routine that was 4 vials in a holder like a beaker with stones underneath it. $3,000. I was asked, because by invitation only, because celebrities were buying this, and the president of Haute Renfrew at the time, I had met a few times just in Toronto, just as friends. People who own dogs meet people who have dogs, and they all have different kind of lifestyles. So it was just one of those things. Anyways, they invited me, knowing that I'm a cosmetic chemist, knowing that I am not going to ever buy this because I could make stuff like this for myself. But they thought it would be really great to get my feedback on this launch. So I was eager to go. So I went, and they actually had me go there at 8:30 in the morning. Had to go there early because I wanted to go there before the office hours and before the store opened, because I also didn't, want too much interaction. So they did a very special presentation. And so here the presentation starts with strawberries and champagne. This is before noon. So I'm thinking, you really want to get me drunk to make me listen to this, what you've invented. But anyways, out comes the developer and the product and a rep, and they start telling me about this magical 4 serum. I think it was 4 serums. 4 serums. Each serum was to be used in a specific sequence. It had a stone underneath it that was energizing and polarizing the actives. The actives was, get this, it was sea algae that is at the bottom of the ocean that is only harvested during sun explosions. That probably sounds really impressive for a lot of people, thinking, oh my gosh, not sea algae, only harvested during sun explosions. Well, you know how silly that is, and I'll tell you how. The sun is exploding all the time. That is how the sun actually exists. The sun is one big explosion, constantly exploding. So basically, you can pick up this tumbleweed any time of day or night, and it's going to be viable. So in essence, that was their pitch. And that was their pitch because why? People don't know the nuances. Then it's not just seaweed. It's the seaweed that's on the bottom that's rolling around. So this is the one that's actually picking up the debris and all the other stuff that's down there. They take this magic out of the ocean and they bring it back to their factories or laboratories. They process it, and then they start adding things like peptides, vitamins, antioxidants, essential fatty acids, and the list goes on and on. So I'm listening to this saying, this is stone soup. You never heard of that story of stone soup where the guy tries to make a soup with a stone and says, this is a magical stone. It makes soup. And they're like, oh, I want to know, how do you do this? Well, okay, get me a pot of water, and get me a chicken, and get me some carrots, and get me a potato, and I'll show you how magical this stone is. Because you basically built your soup, and they just throw the stone in. Well, this was the same thing for this brand. They talked about this algae, but if you looked at the formula, it was all based on peptides. It was based on collagen peptides, right? We know this. It was based on collagen peptides, a growth factor, and then essential oils. Then they told me that you use this in sequence, and after you use this for 2 weeks on your skin, you will look like you've been on vacation. To which my reply was, for $3,000, I can go on vacation. I wouldn't need this product. So I guess my point is, and you know what happened? A handful of celebrities made a lot of noise, bought this, and then it disappeared. Why? Because it was built on this magical thinking. It was built on nothing. But this brand rolled the dice and tried and went for it. And for that little couple of weeks, whatever, they caused enough stir in the industry. But that product had zero longevity because it was based on celebrity, magical thinking, and confusion, I believe. Based on, and I guess the other word for confusion would be consumer ignorance, just not knowing that when they tell you you can only get this during sun explosions, they probably think that you think that that's really impressive. But if you have, a little bit of other information, that's why I think they want you in a locked room with champagne and strawberries, so you actually can't think twice before making the purchase. That's my side story. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed our conversation. Celebrity skincare and influencers versus established brands. I look forward to your questions and comments. As always, I love your engagement. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you next time.